For this worksheet, we're going to be creating exponential equations given 2 points. So this says, suppose that the 2 points below represent 2 years of a particular bank account that has exponential interest. So you see the points 0, 5, and 4, 20.32. So if we were to graph those 2 points, we have 0, 5, which would be right there. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if that's 5, up here would be 20.32. So 0, 5, and 4, 20.32. And the first question asks, what do you know about the bank account just by looking at the points? Well, it's obvious, as time travels, so as my x values get bigger, that my $5 today is going to grow into $20.32 in the future. So number one, we know that this graph is increasing. And if you think back to an exponential equation, that's y equals b times m to the x. So we already know that today there are 5 points, or $5, and those $5 are increasing. So the equation is going to be y equals 5 times some m value to the x. And if you think about the m value is the rate of increase. We know this is going up. So m has to be greater than 1. If m equaled 1, that's 100% of your previous value, and you wouldn't be increasing at all. If your m is bigger than 1, then your money is growing. If your m is smaller than 1, then your m is shrinking. So all we need is m, which is unknown. Number 3, let's calculate the interest rate using y equals bm to the x by filling in b, y, and x. What does m mean in the story? Well, it's sort of the interest rate. It's 100% plus the interest rate. So I do know an x value and a y value. I know that when x equals 4, y equals 20.32. And I also know that my b value is 5. I can use all of this information to calculate my m value so that I can write the equation. So to do this, we just fill in all of these values into this equation. So I'm going to plug my y in, I'm going to plug my b in, and I don't know m, but I do know that x is 4. So 20.32 is my y equals, my b is 5, m is unknown, and x is 4. So now I can just use algebra to solve for m, and that will give me the necessary values to write the equation. So divide by 5. Let me turn my calculator on. So 20.32 divided by 5, and I get 4.064. So 4.064 equals m to the 4th. Now I just need to take the 4th root. So in my calculator, my 4th root is found inside the math button, but you have to push the 4 first. So 4, math, go down to number 5 that says x root. So the 4th root of, and I don't actually want to type in 4.064. So down here by the negative key, so right here, is a little button that says ANS for answer. So I could type in 4.064, but I don't want to. I'd rather just use what the calculator did. So I'll push second, and then the negative key for answer, and that will give me a value of 1.42, we'll call it. So m equals 1.42. Now 1.42 means I keep 100% and I gain 42%, which is exactly what we thought it was going to be. We knew m was going to be bigger than 1. So the equation for this graph is y equals my original $5 times 1.42 raised to the x. And that's the answer. So let's look at the next one. So my b value is going to be 3. My x value is 8, and my y value is going to be 5.55, and this one is going up. We start with $3, so we start with 3, and 8 years later, we're going to have $5.55. Now, this is not a very fast increase, so it's probably going to give me an m value really close to 1. So I'm going to plug all those numbers into y equals bm to the x. So my y goes there, my b goes there, and my x goes there. So 5.55 equals 3 times m raised to the 8th power. So I divide by 3. Whenever I get there, I'm going to take the 8th root. So let's get rid of that. 5.55 divided by 3 gives me, 5.55 divided by 3 is 1.85, and I want to take the 8th root, so 8 math x root, and I could type in 1.85, but I'd rather just do second answer, and I get 1.0, we'll call it 1.08. So m equals 1.08. That means I have a bank account that's growing at 8%. This first 100% includes everything from last year, and this 0.08 represents an 8% increase. So my equation is y equals 3 times 1.08 to the x. All right, let's do number 5. Number 5 has a b value of 21, and you see that 6 years later we have $9, which means this is an exponential decay. A decrease. We're losing money. And whenever we lose money, we call it exponential decay. So I fill in the values for x, y, and b. 9.11 equals my b value, which is 21, times my unknown m, and I'm going to raise that to the 6th power. So I divide by 21, I divide by 21. 9.11 divided by 21 is some terrible decimal. I'm going to take the 6th root, and then again, I don't want to type in that big long decimal, so just second answer. And it gives me an m value of 0.87. Now this m value is less than 1, which means that the bank account is shrinking, which is exactly what we knew before. It's shrinking by 13%. If you take your original 100% and you subtract 87%, you get 13%, which is the rate of decay. So every year we lose 13% of our money. So the answer in equation form is y equals my original b value, which is $21. That $21 is shrinking at 13%. So 0.87 to the x. And by shrinking 13%, we're keeping 87% every year. So your assignment today is to do all 9 problems on the back. The answers are there to help you out, but you do need to show your work to get credit. This worksheet will be due tomorrow.